Kia ora, welcome to episode 6 of the Dan Hooker Podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Aaron Toes Him Up Toe. He's in the house.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening?
I think that's the best Kiwi fight name. When I first saw it, when you came over to my mentorship for the trial, you were living in Brisbane, and you come over and I looked you up and it was Toes Him Up. I was like, bro, I need it. I can't wait till Toes Him Up gets called out by Bruce Buffer in the UFC octagon.
Highlight on my career, bro. It took me about 2-3 years for people to actually.
Where did they even get? Yeah, because I was thinking like Aussies only they're not going to know what you're saying. So when the American audience hears Toes Him Up, they're going to be like, "What does getting toed up mean?" You know what I mean?
What are these words? Yeah. So I in my teen years, I used to do a lot of
toesing people up.
a lot of yelling at people when I was drunk, and and one of my mates just said to me one day, he was like, "Fuck, you gotta toes them up, bro, toes." And in where I come from, it's like a slang, like toesing someone up is like hitting someone so hard that they're on their back and their toes are pointing up. So that is literally what I try and do to people.
Toes them up.
Toes them up.
Toes them up in the house. Nah, I can't wait till Bruce Buffer calls that out. Because I do it in like America when I'm at shops. Like I'm just like, "Kia ora," walk in the shop, "Kia ora, how's it going?" And they're just like, they give you this strange look like, what does he say? I do it in Thailand, I do it in Vietnam. Sharing the love. We're gonna get back to your fight because you do fight this coming weekend. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But the way the show is set up is we cover like international events. So what's the goings on internationally? Just this past weekend, my boy Corey Sandhagen was out there. I gave everyone their heads up. Ooh. Put your money down on Corey Sandhagen. He goes out there and he just picked Moraes apart. Picked him apart. Doesn't discriminate to any kind of target. He worked the legs, worked the body, with the punches, with the kicks, and just broke him down, finishing him with a wheel kick, which is pretty crazy. That's gonna get you 50K. I'm looking forward. Oh, he called out TJ after that fight. That's a fight that makes a lot of sense because TJ's he got that 2-year EPO suspension. 2 years I don't feel like's enough for EPO. If you're like injecting yourself with red blood cells.
What's EPO?
EPO, erythropoietin something. It's like what Lance Armstrong got caught for.
Oh,
it's
the blood doping stuff.
Yeah, blood doping. So you increase
your own blood out.
You're increasing like your red blood cells in your body. And it's like only detectable in a blood test. So with urine testing. So under old rules, before you started, there was only ever urine testing. There was never blood testing. And the two things that can only be detectable in blood is like EPO and HGH, which is like human growth hormone.
Yeah, I got a lot of that when I was growing up.
and EPO. Yeah, so I don't feel like 2 years is enough for that. Well, anyway, he called out TJ. TJ's making his comeback, and that's actually funny because I've seen them spar. I've seen them spar when Sandhagen was like only 2-0, 3-0, and he was sparring against TJ, and it was Corey's way back then. And this is years ago. I'm thinking this is 3.5, 4 years ago. And in that amount of time, the Corey then to the Corey now is developed and grown a lot. So I feel like that's a good call out for him, and that's a good scalp for Corey to add to his resume. Co-main event, Edson Barboza versus Makhachev Americani. Man, Barboza found his feet at 45. Barboza found his feet at featherweight. He looked sharp, he looked fit. He stuffed the takedown well against an extremely strong grappler. Called out a top 5, top 6 opponent. With the name as big as his and what he's done in the lightweight division, he's definitely earned that. Even though he beat an unranked opponent, he's definitely found his feet. You see the spinning kick that Joaquin Buckley.
Crazy.
That's mad. What Dana's calling it the best kick, one of the best knockouts of all time. I like this so much because there was like, his opponent made no mistake. He actually did like a good job. That's a perfect cross block, catch the heel, sweep it, and then as he sweep, that's just like sheer sheer athleticism and physicality to pull off something like that is incredible. That's the kind of knockout I like. I like a knockout when a guy just does something stupid, like a guy just like puts his hand down or like leans the wrong way or makes like a extremely basic mistake and gets like hit with an overhand or hit with a head kick. Then you're like, it's not that impressive to me. But that, like when a guy goes out there, does absolutely nothing wrong and still gets flatlined, that I tip my hat. Now I know who Jaquin Buckley is, and I'll be looking forward to his next fight.
He fought like 2 weeks earlier.
He fought Kevin Holland, I think. Kevin Holland's a gun. He lost, I think it was a decision to Kevin Holland. That was a good back and forth contest. Kevin Holland's a beast though. Beast too. So what's coming up? Ortega Jung. I think this will be, so this is pretty much the fight. Who fights Alex next? Who fights Alex Volkanovski next? You know, Alex Volkanovski's been very vocal about not fighting Max Holloway again. Two wins against a guy. You can't give him a third. I'm on Alex's 100% behind Alex here. I can't see a third fight when he's already beaten him twice. It's just on paper unjustifiable to make that fight again. I think this fight here, Ortega or Jung, I don't even think it's got to be impressive. I feel just whoever gets the win gets the next shot at Alex. Whoever wins out of Ortega and Jung gets the next opportunity to fight Alex Volkanovski. On that card as well, Jamie Malachy. Jamie Malachy is second fight up, and he's fighting Fares Zaim. So he's 10-3. He's also coming off a decision loss to Don Madge. So Jamie Malachy made his debut UFC Auckland when I fought Paul Felder. Incredible fight with Brad Riddell. Both of them winning fight of the night for that. Malachy's been injured for a little bit, but I'm excited to see him come back against a good opponent. This is where he's really going to make his name in the UFC. So I'm looking forward to Malachy on that one. Jamie Malachy versus Fares Zaim. Ooh, what's coming up internationally? It's finally here. Carlos Ulberg is making his debut on the Dana White Contender Series. Now it says middleweight, but that is a typo. I read Eugene saying that was a typo. And it is at light heavyweight. I was thinking when I saw middleweight, I was like, what? Whoa. You're going to chop off his leg or something? The boy's huge. Like, he's like a legit light heavyweight. Carlos Ulberg is a legit light heavyweight. He cuts to light heavyweight. He's a big boy.
How tall is
he? He'd be like 6'4".
Yeah.
6'4".
Just a bit taller than me.
And a 12-pack.
And a 12-pack.
At middleweight. I was like, he's got a 12-pack at 92 kilos. I was like, what's he going to have? 18-pack at 84 kilos. But he's fighting a Brazilian opponent, Bruno Oliveira. That's in 3.5 weeks, November 4th. So Carlos Ulberg making his UFC. Man, I cannot wait for this fight. That kid is a gun. He's a two-time King of the Ring champion. Undefeated as in professional mixed martial arts.
It made the King of the Rings look like a walk in the park sometimes.
Heavy, both light heavyweight or heavyweight light.
So he's in quarantine because he was over with the boys.
Yeah, they went over to Fight Island, and Blood Diamond and Carlos were in fight shape or like close to weight. Like they were ready to jump in if someone were to get injured. They were going over as the teammates, as training partners, but they were going over ready to fight, and that was kind of just a signal to the UFC. Their intentions, like we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. We're willing to fly. We're willing to like make all of these sacrifices to get the opportunity. They came back. Yeah, Carlos is still in quarantine, but he's quarantined with the coaches.
The boys,
so he's training. I seen Israel and Brad. They're sparring him. They're rolling with him. Like everyone's doing what they can to get him in best shape possible. But yeah, he's still training. He'll get out of quarantine and fly straight back. Do like a week of training, 2 weeks of training, and then he's flying straight back to be on the Dana White Contender Series.
Massive stuff.
That's our international section of the show. Now we're going to move into what's been going on locally. Well, this weekend I was down at
Waihi.
I was down in Waihi. A couple hours drive from Auckland. Beautiful. We stayed out on the beach. It was beautiful weekend of fights. We had one of our boys in the main event, Jeffrey Campbell against Case Needham. I love that fight. I love that fight.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, it was for New Zealand title, so you've got to pull out all the stops. You know, I went and wound old Jeffro up, sent him out there, and he was looking to finish him. Man, Case is tough. Case is tough. You know, Jeffro was landing a load of low kicks. Case adapted well, and got the decision win. But that was one heck of a fight. Jeffro, I have a lot of time for. He's pretty open about his past, where he used to be quite heavily addicted to P, quite heavily addicted to methamphetamine. And this is just his story of turning his life around from that. So he had I have to share the video of his speech. After the fight, he gave a speech. He said, this is supposed to be my winning speech, but I promise I wouldn't say it if I lose. But I think it's something that needed to be said, especially with a fight like that. There's some fights where, losses still aren't even losses. He impressed me so well. And
I seen the dude starting late in the, how many rounds was it? 5 rounds. 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I think late in the third, the guy's eyes kind of just started looking down, started looking like he was. His body language was looking like he was feeling he was getting dominated.
He come on though, like Case come on in the 4th and the 5th, like he really didn't wane at all. Like he was in that fight the entire time. But Jeffro's speech, he just said he started his hashtag, put down the pipe, pick up the gloves, and he just encouraged, anyone out there, because he's from a small town himself, and he says that, meth addiction in small towns in New Zealand is a huge problem. And this is the solution, put down the pipe, put down the drugs, like pick up the gloves, start fighting, get in your local gym. There's local gyms throughout the whole country. And so it's a good encouragement. And, here's Jeffro here, spent a long part of his life, a big chunk of his life, addicted to methamphetamine. Now he's turned his life around. He's fighting. He's doing well. He's impressing me. And I couldn't be more proud of the kid.
Oh, massive. He drives up every weekend.
Yeah.
Stays up here
every
all
week, sleeps in a van outside the gym, trains, goes home. Like he's very committed, incredibly committed. Ooh, if you didn't watch this, the Eternal show was in the weekend, and we had the main event of that was Jack Della versus Alden Bates. Jack Della winning that fight. So Jack Della was 8-2 coming into this. Alden Bates was 6-2. So it was a very good main event. Jack Della wins via KO punch in the first minute. So it was under a minute 20, minute 10 into the first round. It's in southpaw for a straight hook. The hook caught Alden on the chin, set him down, and that was the fight. So now Jack Della 9-2 as a professional, 9-fight win streak. So he lost his first 2 pro fights. Now he's gone on to a complete 9-fight win streak, all stoppages.
Was that for the title?
Yeah, I think that was
because Alden. I remember Alden fought Damian Fraser back when I was in Infinity Martial Arts.
I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that was Jack Della's the champ. The champ.
Nice.
9-2, 9-fight win streak, all stoppages. So all of his 9 wins are via stoppages. If you listen to it, after he wins the fight, the crowd erupts into a UFC chant. So they will start chanting. Yeah. UFC. They will start chanting UFC with him.
Contract.
And Jack Della gets on the microphone and he says exactly what you need to do. What Jack Della is doing is the exact recipe to get yourself an opportunity in the UFC. Win streak. He's on a 9-fight win streak. Finish your opponents. He's on a 9-fight finish win streak. And then be good on the mic, be good on social media, and show the UFC that you won it. So he gets on the mic and he says, it's criminal giving me these local people. I need to fight some internationals. People need to give me the best in the world.
Hey.
So he's made his attention known to the UFC. This show was on Fight Pass. So even without that, 100% the UFC watches these cards. Without a shadow of a doubt, the UFC matchmakers. I've heard Sean Shelby say it in an old interview. He's like, if you're at a fight show and there's a camera there, I will know who you are, and I would have watched that fight.
The eyes on it. Give the man some respect.
Yeah. So he's doing exactly what you need, and I'm looking forward to Jack Della getting that call from the UFC very soon. Now, what's coming up? Why I have brought you here, XFC 45 this weekend. at the Edgar Center in Dunedin. We're heading down south. We're getting on a plane on Friday, heading down south. Now, this show has 3 New Zealand titles on the line. This is a stack card. This is what I've been excited for. We had Shuriken a couple of weeks. Man, the wheels are back in motion for professional MMA in New Zealand. This is what I've been waiting for, you know. Internationally, things have been moving. Like the boys have been fighting overseas, but my concern is that locally it's been stagnant. You know, even though the UFC has been able to pull the strings and get us active and get us fighting, you need the local events. You need the next generation that needs to come through and build their records to get themselves an opportunity to make a living. This is it. Shuriken was back in action last weekend. Now we're getting XFC with some pretty incredible fights.
And the famous words of Carl Weber, the boys are to throw down. Hey,
yeah.
Don't leave us on the bench, my man.
This is the funny thing about your fight. Yeah, you're fighting for the XFC Bantamweight Championship. Now you're fighting Caleb Lally. 6-3 as a professional. You are undefeated as a professional. 2-0. It was actually Carl who hit me up about this.
True.
Carl sent me a message and he goes, I've got Caleb down here. He wants to get back in. Like, do you know anyone? He's like, do you know anyone that would be keen to fight him? And I was thinking, you already know. You already know I've got Aaron. So I went back. Yeah, man, Aaron needs to get in there. And this is what I love about the sport in New Zealand is that it's nothing but respect. There's 2 coaches. They got the 2 fighters. The boys need to fight. And it's not like Carl's my old coach. Like, we're from the same lineage of, you know, that's my coach. That's my coach. And we get to go out there. This is an honor. I'm looking at it as an honor for me.
For sure, yeah.
Getting to go out there and compete with my fighter against my old coach and his fighter. Like, nothing but respect. Carl come up for the mentorship. And then we were like, he was getting in the car to leave. He was like, gonna leave. And we were like, yeah, later, brother. Good trip. And he goes, next time I see you, he goes, don't even fucking talk to me. And I was like, talk to me. I go, next time I see you, don't even fucking look at me. We're just like screaming at each other. The Uber driver would have been spacing out.
Gets in the car. You all right, mate? He's like, yeah, that's my mate.
Well, so you broke your hand in your last fight.
Yeah. Got the old switcheroo. Swap my hand out for a new hand. I was cyborging it.
The upgrade, hand upgrade.
So I broke my hand. Just wasn't punching properly. So I spent probably the last year of my life learning how to punch properly instead of just throwing my limbs at people. And yeah, it's come right. It feels great. Like I don't feel like it's inhibited me.
How's camping?
Camp's massive. Love it. Being in the gym 7 days a week. Can I say all the way through COVID? No. We'll cut that out. But camp's been massive. Feel the best shape I've ever been. I got heaps more tools in the toolbox. I'm just feeling great. I feel strong. Fight dietitians got me.
Represent.
Feeling strong. Fight week. Like I'm eating food, all these secret foods. Oh, watch out, man.
Hey.
I don't actually feel hungry for once, but the waterload's got me jumping in and out of the bathroom real quick.
You need to pee right now?
Yeah, no. We've been together for like 15 minutes. I think I've been to the bathroom 3 times. So.
Water lady sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Man, XFC banter. That's just the first title fight of the evening. So next up, Matt Vale fights Sean Redgrave for the welterweight championship. Now,
the Viper.
We're struggling to get Matt Vale an opponent for this because he's such a dangerous fighter. 10-2 as a professional matters. And if you haven't seen him fight before, you're in for a treat. This kid is a wild man. He's like a multiple defending champion, XFC in Australia. So he's got the XFC Australia welterweight belt. This one here is the XFC New Zealand welterweight championship. Sean Redgrave has stepped up to the plate. He's undefeated 1-0 as a professional. Sean Redgrave trains out of New Plymouth. He's at New Plymouth MMA. So these boys will be squaring up at welterweight. Matt Vale if you've heard the show before, you've heard me talk about him as one of the New Zealand's top prospects for the UFC. This will get him back in action. He's been sitting out for a little bit. He's been inactive for the last 18 months. So this will put him back on the horse. Sean Redgrave, though, tough everywhere. Tough striker, tough grappler. He's in for a tough night at the office. But Matt Vale, Sean Redgrave, Welterweight Championship. And that's not even the icing on the cake. The icing on the cake is the Middleweight Championship. Brogan Anderson versus Cole Davis. Now, these are the two top middleweights in the country. So, what's he? Brogan's ranked number 4 for middleweight in our region, Australasia and New Zealand. He's 13-3 as a professional. Cole Davis is 9-3 as a professional. So these boys I've been watching since they started. Since these boys first started stepping in the cage, I've been watching. I think I watched Brogan fight amateur MMA. I think I've seen him fight fighting amateurs. Cole Davis jumped straight into pro, I believe. But yeah, I think I remember Cole Davis's first fight. Both of these boys I've been watching for an incredibly long time, and I am excited for that fight. 3 title fights. Don't miss it. Get down to Dunedin if you're in the local area, or watch the stream. Local MMA is getting back on the circuit. The Edgar Centre, Dunedin, XFC. Get in touch with Matt Toa. Get your tickets. Give us your money, and let's see these boys throw down.
Toes them up.
Toes them up, TV.
I'm sure there'll be a few knockouts on the night.
Bro, those South Island boys don't pull any punches. Now it's time. We got a couple of Twitter questions. We'll get into these.
The Russians on today?
G-Banger. Oh, the Ruskies. They've been going all week, bro. They've been going all week. G-Banger 13. Who hits hardest out of Brad, Carlos, Izzy, Kai, and Lightning Mike? Carlos. Carlos, hands down. That boy can drop a 2. Like he can drop a 2 at you like no one else. Carlos Ulberg hits like a truck. Here we go. Johnny Rummies. Your thoughts on Nate's comments? If you would consider to fight him, most likely at 170. 155 or 170. Nate Diaz. That
is he calling you out?
I don't know. He said he's mentioning me. So at this stage, he shared a video of me beating Gilbert Burns. And then he said, I'm the #1 contender at welterweight. And then I think Israel said, Dan, that's a good fight.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a good fight. And I 100% agree. If the UFC approached me about that fight, that's something that gets me pretty excited. Nate Diaz is one of the biggest names in the sport. Gangster team. Gangsters. Been following him for a while. That'll be an absolute honor to get out there and go toe-to-toe with Nate Diaz.
One of the few that'll catch you outside, my mans.
Yeah, hard out. I like that. Hey. That sounds like a plan to me. Who else have we got here? Smithy Luss. Ooh, we got a Rusky. Why ask for... I'm going to do it in a Russian. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it how they write it. Why ask for a Diaz fight while not interested in Makhachev? Too short notice? Money? What if Ali offered you the 100K bonus he did to Ferguson? I don't know what that is, but... Why would I fight Nate Diaz over Makhachev? Bro, I don't know what these guys are thinking. It's like, do you think I'm sitting at home and I'm going, you know what? I've had 2 5-round main events this year. I've had 10 rounds in the cage, both winning 5 a night. And I go, you know what? Islam Makhachev's done fuck all this year. How about I get off the couch to go down in the rankings and fight him? That doesn't make any sense to me. Am I 200 kgs? Do I have a big white beard and a red hat? Am I Father Christmas? Islam Makhachev can get the fuck to the back of the line. No chance that fight goes down. Get out of here. Get out. Imagine these Russians have been all in my comments all week. Imagine you could be bullied on social media into making a bad business decision.
Hey.
Let's say you got a company. I want to buy your company off you. and I just get all my fans to call you a chicken, and then you sell me your company for 10% of what it's worth.
Yeah, nah. We out.
It's bad business. It's bad business. Hangman's smarter than that, Ruskies. Hangman ain't that silly. Back out of here. Nate Diaz, though. He can get that. Dovey Smew MMA. Would you rather be a dog with a man head or a man with a dog's head? But that's easy. I would rather have the dog's head and the man body.
Why?
Because then you imagine eating.
Yeah. Oh.
That'd be fun as. And biting people.
Have a new weapon.
Yeah.
New tool in the toolbox.
Okay. We got time for one more. MKK Anderson, Tyler Anderson. I had an eye on the Chikadze versus Duplessis because you mentioned them during your last podcast and both won. Who are your undercard fighters to watch this week? Any dark horses? Good question. Good question. I have a couple for you to watch this weekend. Well, Jamie Malachy, we already talked about him. He's first fight of the night coming up on the
the Anzacs.
Ortega versus Chan Sung Jung.
I watched him fight a few times,
Malachy. Yeah. I watch him on the local scene. Another one you need to keep an eye on. This is a fight. Mark Striegel versus Saeed Nur. So I think he's another one of Khabib's rallies by that last name. But Mark Striegel, I've watched him for a very long time. He's been one of the top prospects in the Australasian Pacific region for a very long time. He's for Ev Ting. He's for Kaikar France. So I remember him fighting my teammates a long time ago. He was undefeated for the longest time. I've been waiting for Mark Striegel to get in the UFC for a number of years. I heard he got signed. He's making his debut inside the UFC. So this is a fight you need to keep your eye on. Mark Striegel versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. Also on the card, Gamrot, Matthias Gamrot, 17-0. And he's the KSW champion. He's a KSW lightweight champion. If you don't know what KSW is, it's a big Polish show. It's a huge Polish show. They sell out. They do these massive events in Poland. KSW is a massive show. 2 wins over Norman Park. Before, Norman Park is a XFC vet and still one of the best lightweights in the world. So those are the 2 to keep your eye on. We've covered everything locally. We've covered everything internationally. Thank you, Aaron Toes 'em up, Toe. Don't miss and fight this weekend. XFC 45.
Let's go.
Woo.